As we all know, today is the first Sunday of the month of Qiyaq, and we are enjoying this happy Advent season and fast. The gospel of this blessed morning starts to tell us those glad tidings which preceded the incarnation and the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. Those glad tidings that mankind started to experience, represented in Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist. As the gospel just mentioned, saying, "So it was that while he was serving as priest before God in the order of his division, according to the custom of the priesthood." Back then, the priests in the Jewish temple of Jerusalem were being arranged in 24 divisions throughout the year. Each division has to serve the temple 2 weeks per year. And the week, of course, is from Saturday to Saturday. Their services in the temple varied from preparing the showbread to offering the morning and evening sacrifices. That is in addition, of course, to offering the many sin offerings if any one of the common people brings. In addition to all that, they used to choose one priest out of the whole division to enter into the holy place to offer incense. I just remind you that the holy place is different from the Holy of Holies. He has to go to the holy place in order to offer incense on the golden altar once in the morning and once in the evening in front of God. And the timing of the incense offering in the morning was usually the 3rd hour of the day, according to the Jewish timing, which corresponds to 9 o'clock in the morning, according to our time. As for the evening offering of incense, was usually the 9th hour of the day, according to the Jewish timing, which corresponds to 3 p.m. in our time. And due to the huge number of priests in each division, they usually about 1,000 or more in each division. We have 24 divisions. They used to cast a lot among themselves to choose only one of them to enter the holy place, to burn and raise and offer incense on the altar of incense. So Zechariah, according to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to enter the holy place in front of the Lord and burn incense. Bear in mind that the lot that they cast means that God chose Zechariah to enter in order to see and be seen in the holy place in front of God, and also to raise and offer the people's prayers and pleas to God. The Bible mentioned that the whole multitude of the people were outside. Back then, they used to stand in a court called the Court of Israel, that is outside the holy place. While the priest ascends the stairs leading to the second part of the temple, which called the holy place. The priest enters the holy place, and this holy place has three things. Has the altar of incense, and it's called the golden altar. And on the right of the golden altar of incense, there is a table called the table of the showbread. And then on the left, there is the lampstand, the golden lampstand. In this place, the holy place, there, he should raise the incense. But why the people were standing outside, waiting? According to the custom, it is supposed, after the elected priest finished raising the incense in the holy place, he is supposed to come outside and utter or say the blessing to the gathered people, as it was mentioned in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 22 to 27. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the way you shall bless the children of Israel. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I will bless them." This is what the whole multitude of people were waiting to hear from the priest who just entered to the holy place to offer incense and come out with the blessing. Remember that is exactly what we do in our liturgy. The priest with the censer full of incense go around the church gathering the prayers of the believers. And then he go back to the altar and offer the incense, offer the prayers to God. At the end of the liturgy, with the crosses in his hand, he will say the blessing to the people. That is the work of the priest. But a strange thing happened inside that holy place in that day. while the people were praying outside, the angel of the Lord appeared to him, to Zechariah, standing on the right side of the altar of incense, that is toward the table of the showbread. So between the table of the showbread and the altar of incense, suddenly he saw an angel. And when Zechariah saw him, he was troubled. And fear fell upon him. Maybe some of you will say, when I see an angel, I'm not going to be troubled. I'm not going to be, fearing anything. Actually, he was troubled because of a simple reason. This was unusual not only to Zechariah, the priest, but also to any Israelite in his time. The reason is, as you all know, that since the prophecy of Malachi, the last prophecy in the Old Testament, since that time, heaven was closed for over 300 years. No prophecy, no inspiration, no visions, no dreams, no angels coming with messages. So when Zechariah saw the angel, fear fell upon him. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah." The same word he will say to Saint Mary also afterwards. Do not be afraid, Zechariah. And the word "do not be afraid," this is the sign. This is the sign when seeing spiritual matters. When seeing spiritual matters, regardless of being troubled, you will have a sign that asserts that this vision is from God, that God sends peace along the vision or the appearance. Inner peace. This peace takes away fear, troubling, confusion, perplexity from any man. Because our forefathers warned us, saying that the evil one can take an outlook similar to an angel of light and deceives men. So how can man differentiate between seeing an angel, a real angel, and seeing the devil in an appearance of an angel? By one thing, peace, inner peace. The devil will never and can never give or offer peace to the soul. Do not be afraid, Zechariah. This word is for every one of us. Take Zechariah's name and put your name. Do not be afraid, so and so. for your prayers or your prayer is heard. Your prayer is heard. Your prayer is heard. Which prayer? What was Zechariah asking? Maybe you think that Zechariah was praying and asking for a child, to have a son. That is expected from the narration, and that was his desire anyway. As a matter of fact, Zechariah did request and pray it for this son to be born. But that was when he was still young in age, in the beginning of his life as a youth. Then with the days and years passing by, and with the increased feeling of his inability, along with his wife's inability as well, he abandoned that prayer. He forgot about his request and plea. So in front of the altar of incense, what he was praying for. Actually, he was praying another prayer. And that is so obvious later on, and we understood it from the words of his praise that he will utter after the birth of his son. What do you think his prayer was? What he was asking for in front of the golden altar of incense? If you read his praise, he was praying for the coming of the long-awaited Messiah. Not anymore a son for himself, selfishness. But he was asking the request of whole humanity. We are eager for salvation. We are waiting for the Messiah. That was the prayer that occupied his mind, and truly his prayer was heard. Actually, his two prayers were heard. The prayer that he forgot about, and the prayer that he is presenting now in front of the altar is heard. For that was the appointed time of the coming of the Messiah. And to his surprise, the same time was the appointed time for his first plea to be heard and be fulfilled, that his wife Elizabeth will bear him a son, and he shall call his name John. The name John, as you all know, means the compassion of the Lord, Yahuwah. The mercy of the Lord, Yahuwah. And not only because the angel told him that you're going to call him John, but actually from the meaning of the name, that is his way to thank God for answering his two prayers. What a beautiful verse. Your prayer is heard. I'm sure that everyone shares the same feeling, that I want to hear the same words uttered for myself. Imagine that you are in a room praying as usual every single night, and suddenly you hear these words. Your prayer is heard. how much joy, how much comfort, how much peace you're going to have in your heart. Truly, those words give us all a huge amount of hope that God can and is willing to work great works in every man's life, if that man is obedient to God and His will. God can do the unthinkable, the unimaginable, because He is the God of the impossible. The unbelievable for Zechariah and Elizabeth was to have a son. But the God of the impossible can give them John. Zechariah and Elizabeth were looking to the limitation of their bodies' natural abilities, but that cannot limit or hinder God's capabilities. That's why when you ask and request anything from God, trust. God is capable of giving you that request. When you pray, God may give you what you asked for. Or He may tell you, wait. Not now. Later. As he did with Zechariah in the beginning of his life. God, I want a son. Elizabeth is saying the same thing. I want a son. He said, wait. Or He may tell you no. And no here doesn't mean that God cannot give because He doesn't have the capability. No, God forbid. But because what you ask is not for your profit. It is not for your good. If it happened and God said, not now, trust that the time which God chose to fulfill your request is the best time. It is for your benefit. Not only your benefit, for the benefit of all humanity. Remember that if Zechariah would have received a son earlier, I don't think that his joy would be the same as receiving a son while he's impotent and his wife is barren. Impossible. We asked for a son and God gave us, like everyone else. But no. When the time comes that you are impotent, you are barren, you have no power, you don't have even will to ask God for, this is the time that God will give you what you asked for. I don't think that Zechariah, if he got a son earlier, he would enjoy that this son would be the forerunner before the Messiah, whom the Messiah himself witnessed for him, saying that he is the greatest among those who born of women. Do you want your request like anyone else? Or do you want yours to be the best? My beloved, do not hasten God to do what you want. God is saying in Isaiah 60:22, I am the Lord. In its time, I will do this swiftly. In its time. not in your time. I will do this swiftly. God will do and give swiftly, not only your request, but also more than you can imagine or think. Glory be to God forever and ever. Amen.
تنتينم بشرت اسم